Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Everyone, welcome to the show. So 55-year-old Montana resident Henry Muntzer posted on Facebook, this was in December of 2020, and he wrote, quote, "Once the real ballots are counted, everyone will understand that Trump won 49 states. In short time, the evidence will bear it out." Muntzer also repeatedly talked about treason, and in late December, he posted, quote, "We are coming, and we are one pissed off group. We would rather die on our feet and be free than to live on our knees as a slave." He also wrote, quote, "The secret to defeating your enemy is to show up in masses. When you surround your enemy with such overwhelming force, you can defeat your enemy without even firing a shot." And he posted a meme showing someone being swarmed by bees, which read, quote, "A single bee is ignored, but when millions come together, even the bravest run in fear." So on January 4th of 2021, Muntzer posted, quote, "Vice President Mike Pence is a traitor and will face execution." And in an effort to attract a swarm of Trump supporters to the Capitol, Muntzer paid the travel expenses of 8 other people from his state. On January 6th, Muntzer told another member of the mob, quote, "Well, you know, it's the people's house. We just move in and spend the night down there. Take it over." Once he reached the Capitol grounds, he followed the mob as they broke through all the barricades and the police lines, and he was recording a video on the Upper West Terrace. And in this video, Muntzer said that he passed, quote, "through all the tear gas to take the Capitol by storm." So he was then seen on surveillance video illegally entering the Capitol. There was an alarm blaring as he entered, and Muntzer walked through various areas of the building before he headed to the Senate chamber. So along the way, Muntzer and others ran into a police line, but the mob began pushing the officers backward, so down the hallway. And the police pushed back, and they ultimately did regain control of the hallway, but they had to shoot everyone with pepper spray. So Muntzer left the hallway at that point. He headed back to the Capitol Rotunda, and he joined in with another crowd that was confronting officers. Well, the officers were guarding a doorway, and the mob started pushing against them. Once again, Muntzer maneuvered to the front of the crowd, and he joined in this push. And the officers were standing, by the way, with their backs to a staircase. Well, they were all pushing the officers so hard and so forcefully, one female officer fell down the stairs. And, you know, this is because of Muntzer and the others, their specific violent actions. So after that encounter, Muntzer moved over to the center of the rotunda, and a short time later, a large group of officers formed a line that was near Muntzer, near the center, and they were trying to move everyone out of the building. They kept walking towards them and telling them to move back. Well, again, Muntzer positioned himself right at the front. He started chanting USA, and when the officers ordered Muntzer to move back, he replied, "No, I won't do that." So the police started to physically move forward. They were pushing the mob back, but Muntzer pushed back against them. And according to the prosecutor, Muntzer was one of the last people who was physically forced out of the rotunda. So at that point, he exited the building. He left the Capitol grounds sometime after that, and he immediately started boasting about his crimes on social media. So he wrote on Facebook, quote, "Storming the Capitol, get past the Capitol Police and enter 4 chambers." He also said that every time the police deployed chemicals, they, quote, "lost ground, and we pushed them further down the corridors." Muntzer also did interviews on YouTube channels, and in an interview with a local news station, he said that he went to the Capitol to, quote, "keep Congress from committing treason." And, quote, "I do not regret being there. I would absolutely want to be there again. It was the greatest time, I believe, to be alive. So Muntzer was arrested on January 19th of 2021, and he was charged with obstructing an official proceeding, civil disorder, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. But Muntzer thought that he was going to be exonerated of these crimes, and he actually said, I'm going to get paid for this. He thought he would get compensation for his arrest and for being charged. Muntzer told a news outlet, quote, "Not only will I be cleared, they are going to pay me a huge premium for this." So he refused a plea deal. He opted for a bench trial. And in February of 2024, the judge found Muntzer guilty on all counts. Now, with the obstruction charge off the table, because, as I mentioned before, Trump's sycophants on the Supreme Court, Muntzer was looking at a sentence of up to 8 years in prison, 15 years of probation, and over $450,000 in fines. So that's total combined on all charges. The civil disorder, which is still a felony, and then the 4 remaining misdemeanors. Now, in this case, the government requested a sentence of 54 months in prison, which was an upward variance from the federal sentencing guidelines. And they asked for 3 years of probation on top of that, plus $2,000 in restitution. And the prosecutor pointed out Muntzer had shown no remorse for his actions, as I just shared with you. So that played a part in why they asked for a longer prison term. And even after Muntzer was convicted by the judge, he posted on social media, quote, "This is a badge of honor," and quote, "Would I do it again knowing what I knew then? Absolutely." And he remained defiant up until his sentencing. He falsely claimed that the police were the aggressors. He said the mob was peaceful, and the government said Muntzer repeatedly lied during the trial. He gave false testimony, for instance, that, quote, "They let us into the Capitol. Somebody waved us in. They opened the doors." Yeah, that was you guys. That was your people. They was Trump supporters. They let you in, guy, not the police. Muntzer also denied pushing against the officers while he was under oath. Of course, his testimony was completely refuted by the video evidence. And fortunately, though, U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb presided over Muntzer's case. She is notoriously weak. She is the worst Biden pick for a U.S. District Judge. So in the end, she sentenced Muntzer to only 2 years in prison, 1 year of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So we'll see what happens with this one, if Trump lets him off the hook. If so, these people are going to be like the biggest spoiled brats to ever walk the earth. And I know I say only, but for Gia Cobb, this was a stiff sentence, honestly. She would normally give this guy a pat on the head and a lollipop and send him on his way. So this was her being really tough. Anyway, I will let you all know if I hear any more or when I hear more about his case. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.